The critical reviewer is the bridge between creative works and audience members in the society. A critical review is a writing task that consists of appreciating a piece of work in details, summarizing and evaluating it with a view to determining, based on facts, whether it is a good or poor piece of work. You are appraising a work. You are evaluating a work. You are being objective in criticism. You are looking at the two sides of the coin. There is hardly a work that is so bad that there is nothing good about it, no matter how little. And there is none that is so good that there is nothing bad about it. That is, that there is no flaw at all about the work. So quickly, we look at the structure of a review. Remember, we said you first do basic research and then critical questions, and then you appreciate the work and then write the review. Writing the review is an important aspect. The review has different parts. Just bear that in mind, that a critical review has different parts. So whenever you're told to write the review, remember the head, the neck, the body, and the legs. Unlike the article, like journalistic article, maybe feature article, or even opinion article, or even a news story, where the head is the title of the work or the caption of the story, the head here in the critical writing is different. The head is different from what you find in other journalistic works. The head refers to preliminary information about the work. We're talking about the author of the book, the year of publication, the number of pages, where it was published. That's the head for a book review. Then for a song, you're talking about the artist involved, the album title, song title, duration of the song, maybe number of minutes. That is what you're talking about. The head, preliminary information. You provide that so that somebody who is reading your review, who probably may not have even seen the movie or read the book, will have a nice perspective of where you're taking them to. For a movie, you're talking about the names of the key actors, their real names and their names in the movie. You're talking about the director, the year of release, the duration of the movie. You're talking about the genre or category of the movie. So the head is preliminary information about the work. The neck is the first paragraph. Very essential, because the neck is the bridge between the head and the main work. And it is the first paragraph of the work. Very essential, because it is what now excites the reader and makes them want to read further. That is why they call it the neck. The first paragraph is very essential. Now, the neck also contains the thesis statement. That is often the last line of the first paragraph, or that neck. Now, the neck, we call it the first paragraph. Some others may even extend the neck to the second paragraph, but basically the neck, as somebody learning how to write critical review, just restrict your neck to the first paragraph. And at the end of that first paragraph, you give your thesis statement. That is a one-sentence summary of your position about whatever work you are reviewing, which you're going to defend within the work. If you think this work is flawed, that is what you present in the thesis statement, the last line. If you think this work is very nice, that is what you're now going to bring points to defend within the body of the work. Then the next part is the body of the work. Here you can call it the abdomen. The body of the work, that is where you now present the good aspect of the work in a few paragraphs, then the flaws of the work in a paragraph or two, and then the legs, that is the concluding part of the work, where you now make your submission again and then make your recommendations about the work. Again, we said the abdomen, that is the body of the work. You present the two sides of the coin. If the work is good, you present that the good aspects of the work, make some quotations from the work, and then you also present the flaws of the work, and then as you're pointing them out, you have to be referring to the work. That's what makes the review lively. You refer to the work. If it's a movie, you mention the characters. This character, that character did this. If it's a book, you can mention the pages. If it's an academic text, you can even mention the chapters, and then you make your points clear by backing them up with either paraphrased references to the work or even verbatim quotations. That's the body of the work. Just remember that there are two sides of the coin. Even if you think the work is so good, there has to be an aspect that you think is not very well done. You present it in your review, and then the concluding aspect of the review. You conclude the review by presenting a summary of the analysis you've done, and then presenting your submission about the work again, and then making suggestions on how the work could be improved. So again, we go over the structure of the review. You have the head, which deals with preliminary information about the work. the who, the what, the where, and the when of the work. You have the neck, which is the introductory aspect of the work, where you make a general statement or your opening comments about the work. You do a summary of the book here, or a summary of the movie. That is also a tasking aspect of the work. This is where you summarize whatever you're going to review. If it is a book, you summarize the book here in a few lines. Just pick out the basic theme or the basic plot and mention it here. And that's also where you present your thesis statement, which is a one-sentence summary of the reviewer's position about the work. Of course, you move next to the body, which is where you interpret the work, which is where you present the two sides of the coin. You make your key observations and arguments in the work. You present the strengths and weaknesses of the work in the body. The arguments that support your thesis statement, you present them in the body. You try to make the work lively by using quotations, paraphrasing citations where necessary. This adds life to the work. And then the legs. This is where you conclude. You present a one-sentence summary of the review, and then the reviewer's position on the work. This is where you also present it again. The position you presented in the beginning, which you defended in the work, you come here and present it again, and then you make suggestions on possible ways to improve on the work. Now take a look at this example. You will see where we have the head. The head, we said, is preliminary information about the work, the who, the what, the when, and the where of the work. Now the head differs for various work. We have said if it is for book, you're talking about the title of the book, author, year of publication, publisher, number of pages, the genre, and the reviewer's name. The reviewer's name is always the last aspect of the head. Now you have here, if you look at this, you will see the book title, Diary of a Wimpy Kid. This edition is Wrecking Ball. That's why we put it in brackets. The author is Jeff Kinney. This edition was published in 2019. London, place of publication. The publisher is Puffin Books. Number of pages 217. And then the reviewer's name is Emeka Madubuko. This is the head of this work. For music, you're talking about the song title, the artist, the genre of the music. That is the category of the music, whether it is Afro hip hop, R&B, whether it is classical music, whether it is gangster rap. Now you have the album title, duration of the music. It could be a music video that you're reviewing. You could have producer, director, record label, year of release, and of course the reviewer's name. So here we have a song that we're reviewing. We have the song title, Thunder. The artist is Kiddy. It is a hip-hop song. That's the category of song. The song title is Thunder. The album title is Thunder. Duration 3 minutes 18 seconds. Producer Kiddy. Director Rex. Record label Rex Entertainment. Year of release 2018. Reviewer John Okafor. John Okafor.